Welcome back everyone to another tutorial video. In the last couple of weeks I've been participating in the game of 2020 Game Jam, and I've been reviewing a lot of games, and this gave me a lot of inspirational ideas on how you can create games and also how I could make some tutorials for you guys after figuring out how things work. So a lot of games, they evolved around gravity, in which you can reverse gravity in several ways, like pressing a button, or also just holding a button and whatnot. So in today's tutorial, I want to look at our player character and also make it that he can reverse gravity when pressing a button and also pressing it again to reverse it back. But I also want to ensure that you can still have your walking animation and be grounded upside down, as well as being able to jump. So let's get right into the tutorial. So here's our basic scene as we all know it, with our character controller set up, and the character can double jump, wall climb, wall jump, shoot missiles and stuff. And now we're going to add the gravity, reverse gravity action or reverse gravity move to the character as well. And one thing I want to do is, before we start, I want to turn off the better jump script here in this case, because this will interfere with the whole gravity thing and it won't really work that smoothly, and I think it also doesn't fit. So this is purely for if you want to use this gravity option. I'm not sure if you should use a better jump. So let's get right into it. And my idea is that if I change the gravity, just like I should see in the videos, that you still remain control over the other options. So the character turns around, it can still check the ground, but it can also jump in reverse. So I want to have the full controller working in the opposite side. So let's first add now a new FSM here, and let's call this gravity reverse or something, however you like. And the normal state is, let's say, normal gravity, and then we will make one state, let's say, with reverse gravity. And so to change the gravity is actually very easy, right? Because I'm just going to add here an action, and if we look at gravity, we can change the gravity in two ways. So we can either change, let's say, the gravity scale of this one rigid body. So gravity 2D scale works on a rigid body 2D, or we can change the gravity in the whole level. But if you have other, let's say, enemies walking around and you change the gravity in the whole level, then everybody will flow up. Because if you go now to project settings and physics 2D, you can see the gravity scale is by default set to minus 9.81. For whatever reason, they picked that number. That's what it is. So you can change that by just changing the set gravity to D, changing the gravity in the whole scene. You can do that, but you can also just do it for one character. So let's do this here. And let's say the basic gravity, let's go to rigid body, is here put to 1.5. And usually it's 1. I change it now to 1.5 to make it all a little bit faster. It's up to you. You can also put 2 or 3. So let's put here 1.5, because this is the normal state of the character. And the moment, let's say, I get a key, and you can set any key which you want. So in the last games, which I just showed at the introduction, one used shift, and there are different ways to do it. But let's just do get key down, and I'm just gonna go for the G for gravity. And then I'm just gonna send the finished one. There we go. And here I'm going to make then a new state. And let's call this reverse gravity. And the question is now, if I want to, let's say, just press the G again, and then I reverse again. So that's like having one button. Or you can also say get key up. So I have to hold the G to keep in the gravity mode. So you saw at the intro some different games, they do it in different ways. I'm just going to say you have to press it again to change the gravity. And here we just set the gravity scale to minus 1.5. So this should already change the gravity, and the character will just float upwards. But if I can demonstrate it very shortly, so I could just go here, I jump, I press G, so I'm now up. This is great. I can still move, but of course this all looks super silly. Also, I can't jump, so I can of course change it and change it again and change it again and change it again, so I can float around like that. This is great, but this is not how we want the final product to look, right? Just like in the other games. So we have to add some topics here. So in a normal state, or let's actually just go to the reverse state, and then let's make all the changes there. So first of all, we want to have the ground check in the other direction. So what we should do is we should first go to, let's say, ground check, and currently the direction is -90. What we should do is put here a new global variable, and let's call it ground check direction. See, and now it's put to 0. And for the jump, I just have here the y on 7. Let's also change this to a new global variable and let's call it jump force. Yeah, and for the double jump, then we should also change it to the global, and let's call it jump force. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to the gravity reverse, and here we're going to do set, first of all, factor 2 value, because the raycast was a factor 2, and the global variable was ground check direction. And here it shouldn't be -90, it should be 90 because it has to check upwards now. And if I get back to normal, I'm just going to put it -90. And the same we're going to do is for the jump force, set float value. And we have the global float value here. It's called jump force. And here we're going to put it -7. And when we get back to normal, we're going to put here 7. Great. Now we still miss one part. It's reversing the character up and down. And there are two ways to do this. You could actually rotate the Z axis, but then the character flips in such a way, I can show you, like that. So it's also facing then the other direction. So you would also have to flip, let's say, flip the picture upside down. And perhaps a more easier way is just to flip the Y. So if I put here -07, see, it flips it just like that, and it keeps facing the same direction. Either way is fine, but I'm just gonna go with scale, set scale, because set scale is a easy function. And I'm just gonna go here to the Y. I'm just gonna put here -0.7. Now my character is on the scale of minus. Usually this is 1, 1, but whatever it is, you just have to put a minus in front of it. And of course, in the normal situation, I want it to be normal, right? Now let's go very shortly to the jump. So now you see the jump force is 0, and jump here, the jump force is also 0. So now if we play, let's test this all out. There we go. We can now see that here the jump force is now here 7, and also my ground check is checking down, right? So let's go here to the gravity reverse. So I'm just going to jump here, 1, 2, reverse my gravity. And now you saw the ground check is now looking downwards, and my jump is also in the other direction, and I can still double jump. And my animation is working fine. There we go. Whoops. So, so now you can play around with this, of course, as you can see here. And of course, now you could make changes for this controller. For example, instead of pushing the G, you only have, let's say, the G button has to go up again, or you can give it a time limit. So I say after a wait of 3, then it will reverse again, and I'm not allowed to click it again. So this can easily be set up by just adding waits and cooldown times for your gravity usage. But I think the basic concept to reach, let's say, controlling gravity up and down has already been done now. So let's have a look once more on this cool feature. And as you can see, it's very simple to implement this, but we can just jump now. We first do gravity and you keep running. And actually I can also just use the dash. Oops. So I can still use all the other features as well. I can also just shoot. So that's pretty cool, guys. I hope you can use this in your game. And do show off your games if you've made something. I'd be really interested to check it out. I hope it helped. I also saw some other ideas within the game jam where I wonder how it works, and I will try to figure it out and make some tutorials for other games as well. Right? So thanks for watching and see you all next time. Cheers!